Hello, we are Christina, Deminda, Andrew, and Alexandria, and we're here to introduce you to Cadence. Imagine living your life with your spouse for 50 years, doing everything together and not able to remember a time when you weren't with them. And then one day they're gone. You're blindsided. All of the plans you had of retirement and growing old together have vanished. You stay in your house because you honestly have forgotten what to do alone. Maybe you've earned yourself a bad leg and you have a hard time getting around by yourself, and you find that it's comfortable in your house. It's safe in your house. You don't remember the last time you saw your kids because they have their own family and their own lives, and you don't want to bother them. This is more than a hypothetical. This is a reality for 40% of seniors in America today. This loneliness epidemic is something that can and will impact all of us someday. And it's more than just feeling sad and lonely. Loneliness is a silent killer. There's a 30% increase in likelihood of mortality for seniors who live alone. This is because loneliness is as bad to your physical health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. And this is a growing problem, especially with the baby boomer population. We set out to address the problem. How might we empower socially isolated seniors to find and stay engaged in communities?
So today we'd like to introduce to you Cadence. Cadence is a service that empowers seniors to find groups and volunteer opportunities in their communities with the goal of creating meaningful and long-lasting social connections. So now we're going to take a couple of minutes to introduce you to Bill and show you how Cadence fits into his life.
Hi, it's Cadence. I want to help you find a community. Do you have a group in mind? Or do you want some suggestions? Do you want to hear more information about this group?
So Bill is an amalgamation of seniors around Seattle who we met through our research process and interviewed, getting a glimpse into their lives. So as you saw, Cadence helps connect seniors to groups and volunteer opportunities and motivates them to grow their social network. Unlike existing services and products like Meetup or Volunteer Match, where users have to come in with specific search terms or browse through categories, Cadence uses a conversational interaction, so it can be accessed through the phone, via interactive voice response, or on the website. It's aimed specifically towards seniors through careful design choices across voice, visual, and service design, and acts more like an assistant or a friend, and gives you personalized suggestions. Users answer step-by-step questions about things like their hobbies, life experiences, interests, and their skills, and Cadence uses this information to make better suggestions. So Cadence was inspired by 4 insights that we gained through our research process, and talking to seniors, community advocates, senior centres, and so forth. So firstly, we found that there are a lot of existing groups and sort of events catered towards seniors in Seattle, but they often provided by groups like the AARP, YMCAs, or community centres, but they often struggle with outreach and identifying who isolated seniors are. Secondly, when people do find these different opportunities, often taking the first step back into the community by themselves can be emotionally challenging. Also, when there are several opportunities, it can be difficult to pass through these and find the correct fit based on people's individual needs and interests. And there are also, despite having events, when people find what they'd like to do, there are many logistical barriers or things like accessibility, fears of safety, and so forth.
We also identified 2 principles that we wove into the whole service while designing Cadence. Firstly, we found that technology use in this population ranges from only landline telephone use to being able to use email, websites, and even smartphone apps. We did not want to exclude people from this service because of their technology literacy, and taking the first step is difficult enough without making people learn a whole new technology. Secondly, we learned that even though older adults might have many friends around, if they are just having fun without a sense of purpose, they can still feel lonely. This is why we aim for Cadence to offer productivity-based groups or volunteer opportunities. Cadence is a service rather than just a singular product. This means that there are services or support materials through every step of the process. Here's a high-level overview of the journey a user might take when using Cadence, from registration to follow-up. Alex and I will now go a little in depth about some special features of Cadence that were responses to insights we gained from our research. These are 2 key features of Cadence that are designed to address the problem of getting word out to isolated seniors and having them actually buy in. The first is a brochure with an introduction to Cadence and a current listing of groups that is mailed to people above a certain age range. It would also be available at places frequented by seniors, like their doctor's offices, community centers, and grocery stores. Both the phone call and website interfaces were designed to allow users to have conversations with Cadence. They answer questions one by one, which helps Cadence learn about them, their interests, and their skills, and helps her to make personalized group suggestions. She asks for information in this way because we learned through testing that seniors wanted a familiar interaction, such as having a conversation, when using a novel service involving technology.
Cadence gets to know the individual user not only through registration process, but also by periodically asking questions even after initial sign-up that help fine-tune her suggestions. For example, a veteran user might be looking for new groups, and Cadence would ask a question like this. And this would help Cadence inform to suggest him a book club versus maybe a crafting circle. Instead of Cadence returning back a large list of perhaps maybe 30 activities that fit your criteria, Cadence gives suggestions of groups 2 at a time so as not to overwhelm people. We learned from our research that older adults appreciate small tidbits of information at a time. Both the copy and the background services that Cadence offers is meant to maximize motivation for seniors to start and stay engaged in these groups. Cadence asks users casual questions about themselves, like their hometown or their favorite places to visit. And this information is given to the host so that they can have talking points for each attendee to engage, to encourage further engagement. Cadence also sends reminders of upcoming events or invites to people to new suggested groups through phone call or through email. To address the problem of overcoming kind of logistical and physical barriers, Cadence facilitates transportation by providing bus route information or facilitating carpools with other members going to the same groups. She can also organize rides through ride-sharing apps like Lyft or Uber so that people who don't use these technologies can still have the benefits. Each host also receives a playbook that details protocols for hosts to address accessibility and safety concerns and follow up with each attendee to ensure continued engagement. Loneliness in seniors is considered a grand challenge in American social work, so while we don't think that Cadence is the one-step solution to solving loneliness in seniors, we hope that it is the first step in getting seniors to take their first step back into society. And we have hope because Cadence is not alone. There are real-life Cadences out there, like our friend Evelyn, who said, "The purpose of life is not to be isolated. It is to be part of society. We are put here as social beings to take care of one another." That's how I see it. Some of us are fighting it, and some of us are embracing it. Evelyn volunteers with the AARP and acts as a social connector for other seniors. We hope that Cadence can be like personal Evelyns to people who do not have the real Evelyn in their lives. We'd like to thank our sponsor, Intentional Future, as well as our mentors at Artifact and Microsoft. Also, the senior communities who have helped us shape Cadence by providing their feedback throughout this process. And of course, thank you to our families, the audience, and our MHCID family. We'll now welcome questions.